Welcome back to the most important video that we will ever post on this channel, which is going to be learning bollards. We all love a good bollard. A bollard is a staple to any GeoGuessr player, any good GeoGuessr player. If you know your bollards, you know your game. You've got play. You can just get on and find the right country immediately, and then look for like a mountain or some terrain or some differences in the fauna and the flora, and then from that you can make a very well educated guess. So in today's video we will be playing the learnable meta world, Bollards. And here we have it, the holy grail of learnable meta worlds. We have the Bollards world, which we will be going straight into and seeing what we get. So immediately off the rip, we have a bollard, which is lovely. We have a little flat white bollard with a big rectangular reflector strip and nothing on the back. Wherever this is, they are cheapskates, because that is a cheaply made bollard. When we get further into the video, you'll see some proper bollards. This is like a pretty naff little guy. Look at him. Turn to the side, can't even see him. He needs to go, Jim. Look at him. Little white reflector on the back. It's kind of like off-white colour. This dude, I have honestly got no idea where he's from. I'm going to presume it's European. These mean something as well. I haven't gotten onto signposts yet. So we're just going to plonk. I know it's not around here. I know it's not. It could be Serbia, to be fair. Let's have a cheeky Serbia guess. So that is the Turkey bollard. We have cheaply made bollards in Turkey, which look a bit like the New Zealand bollard, because they are also flat and cheaply made. However, the New Zealand ones wrap around, and in a Jack Sucks at Geography video, we learned a little bit about this bollard, because it looks like it's the bit of tape that goes around the top looks like it's giving it a hug. And if you were to try and hug Australia, you wouldn't be able to, because it's very big. Whereas New Zealand is quite thin, and you'd be able to have a lovely hug with that one. So that's a good way of learning the New Zealand bollard. And then now we just need to remember that Turkey look similar, but just have the little strip on the front. So that's round one. That's a nice one. This, we have some lovely scenery. See, we have the sign here, which indicates there is a corner. And it's yellow and black, which again, much like the first round, it probably means something, but I do not know. This one, we have two reflector strips on a much more substantial bollard. It's less cheaply made than the previous round. We have two reflector strips near the top of the bollard. We have red on the front, white on the back. This could be somewhere really nice. It's given European vibes again, so I'm going to go with somewhere European. Obviously hot, obviously relatively mountainous, so we could be looking down towards. We've had Turkey. It's not the Turkish bollard, so we know it's not that. Could it be a Greek bollard? This is probably a really rough guess, but oh my days. Okay, so that is the Ecuador bollard, which has two stripes. So we have a round bollard post with two stripes, and we have a flat bollard with two reflectors on black tape. That should be a quite easy one to remember. So if we're in Ecuador, we have double. There's probably a really nice like little analogy to remember that, but I'll have to come up with one. Here we have, you know, we said about hugging. You could give New Zealand a little bit of a hug, because it's got a bit of tape that hugs around it. Could we be in New Zealand? Where's the sun, for clarification? The sun is very north, so we are obviously in the southern hemisphere, which gives us a nice indication that we're in a mountainous area of New Zealand. This bit is quite mountainy. The majority of New Zealand is quite mountainy, to be fair. How about a little Queenstown guess? We were correct. Correct enough to not be down and out. If that was in a duel, that would have given us some nice information. This one we've had before, in a previous time of trying to learn some bollards. So America, you use a stick with a little like nipply thing on top. So we know we're in America, which is cool. It is a nice flat-ish plain with some hilly bits, not mountainous, just some nice hilly bits, immediately screams like, I want to say Utah, but I don't even know where Utah is. It's here. Thoughts? I mean, as far as a US guess goes, it was not far off Canada. We are up here in Montana. So we know American bollards are a difficult one. They use so many different sort of formats. I know that there's one where there's like this little bit at the top is a circle. That means something else. The diamond shape is South Dakota. We're not even in South Dakota. That's down here. So that's not helpful. Cheers, game. Here we have a bollard. My favourite. There is not a returning bollard. This dude's on his own. So we have a white pole with a little black bit at the top. Previous video, we spoke about the Austrian and what was it called? One just below Austria. Slovenia. Austria and Slovenia have very similar bollards to this. And my way of remembering it is it's a white pole with a little strip here and a black haircut that goes off to the side. And it kind of resembles Hitler, which is probably not a good way of remembering it, but okay, so it's not the Austrian bollard. Why does it? Oh, so it looks like the Austria-Slovenia bollard, but the reflectors are off-center. So we did see that. So his mustache was over here. So it's dodgy Hitler, which is obviously Serbian. So Serbia is dodgy Hitler. Let's go again. And here we have a very vast open space with yellow bollards. Yellowy orange. These are easy to recognise. If this is wrong, I apologise in advance. But we do know a little thing or two about the Icelandic bollards. They are very unique with their big yellow structure all the way to the floor. And they can be seen across almost every section of rural road across the country in Iceland. So if you think you're in Iceland and you've got a big yellow stick coming out the floor, you're pretty set. This isn't an optimal round for me because unfortunately I can't see where we are. If I get this right, so yeah, if we get this right, that's really sus. How about Bulgaria? That's not bad, considering it was just a black screen. That's like some rainbow type shit. So here we have another very basic bitch bollard. We have a white stick with a reflector on it, and not much else detail-wise, which again isn't particularly helpful. It's obviously a very 2D designed bollard with the sun in the north, which could be similar to round one, but it's not New Zealand because it doesn't wrap all the way around. We could now be in Australia, just based off of the bollard, and obviously the sun confirming its southern hemisphere. So it's a big straight road, decent amount of trees, heading directly, well, pretty much north-south. Wow. Let's go here. That's not too bad. Again, for an Australia guess, it's obviously such a big place. If you've just got some bollards to go off of, at least it narrows it down that you are in that place. So that's nice to know. Whoa! It's not looking good, bruv. This one's been decked. So this is what we're working with. We have a orange reflector strip, black tape on the background. We have a slanty shark fin design at the top. And what we know about shark fins is because Spain is warm, that's the only place in Europe that you can get sharks. It's not, but it's the way that we remember it here. So that We probably could have got a bit better with that because there's obviously a lot of mountains to the north. I should have looked around a little bit. But we're in the right country. We've got over 3,000 score. And we move on swiftly. Here we have Adolf. Adolf the Great. I can't say that on YouTube. We have... Yeah, so again, this is the one where it's not the off-center. So the off-center Hitler is down this direction. We have an Austrian Slovenian bollard. If we can see any hills, that would be lovely to confirm. It is no hill, so it's either a flat area of Austria, so more than likely up this direction, or we could be down in Slovenia. I'm going to go up near Linz, which was not horrendous. It was a flatter area. It was near Vienna. Guessing near a capital is always a good shout, especially in these maps, because they tend to plonk them down closer to the centre. So that was a much better score, much more respectable. In terms of the map, obviously, we didn't miss by much on any of them apart from... No, we actually did quite well here. Nothing too far off. So we're improving our bad scores. When your bad is not too bad, you're less likely to lose. Whereas if your bad's really bad, you're pretty stuffed. Like if you're in wrong continent, you're not having a good day. This is very distinct for a bollard. This has got to mean something. So we have yellow lines in the middle, white outers, which again does mean something. Unfortunately, I don't know. It's very sandy, yet there are pine trees, which is odd. We have the sun directly west, which again is just not helpful in any way. Based off the terrain, could this be... Why is it sandy? Is that sandy, or is that just... So it doesn't get a lot of rain, but we have pine trees, so it's probably cold. I actually don't know. This is I might just hedge Antarctica because I don't want to get it wrong. Okay, so it was US because we got the stick with the thing on top, which is unique to the state of Oregon. Hence why it was sandy. I could have got that, but I didn't want to look an idiot. And by looking like a total idiot, I know that I'm not an idiot, kind of, sometimes. So we are again yellow with a white outer line, which was America last time. Doesn't mean we're in America this time. However, Mr. Bollard is a nice, long, straight white pole. We have experience with those. Not in a... Yeah. Red reflector at the top. It's not very European looking. I'll give you that. It's not Australia, New Zealand. It doesn't look like that. Whereas it could still be, but it's not feeling it. We have a southerly sun. So we are Northern Hemisphere. More than likely, Merca. We have a very big oceany inlet / lake. Leaning towards somewhere around here. Wow, that was good. Oh, I should have gone the south of the big watery bit. Gosh darn. Oh no, we were on this lake. That looks like a lovely area. If anyone's from there, GG's. You found a lovely spot. That was a great guess. So that was the Quebec bollard, which we actually got close to Quebec City, so that was a great guess. Moving on. Not that I want to. I would like to completely live in that moment of actually being good at the game, which is very rare. This again is a confusing one. We have southerly sun, so Northern Hemisphere. I will do that every time, just to make sure that we're not horrendously off. This looks interesting. So it's attached to the center concrete rails. And it's a white bollard with an orange reflector strip at the top with a black tape behind it. That has a number on it. So we're driving on the right. There's some hills. Let's have a look at this guy. Anyone want to get close? No? let's do a bit of hunting. So we have a very odd number plate on the rear. So we have a .pt. That's helpful. But we don't want to use domain names. We do not. Divisio de Emergencia. We have Spanish language. Spanish language? Bro, we're literally in Portugal. So that's a Portuguese bollard. We have a blue car. We're in Portugal. In a very nice area of Portugal. A main road coming down off of a hill. The sea, you would expect to be west. Which makes sense because Portugal, all of the sea is west. We're in a hill, possibly above Porto. We weren't quite that close to Porto, but we were indeed in Portugal. So another round, another bollard accurately found. This is a nice one. This one, I have a way to remember this one. It looks a bit like the Polish flag. It looks more like the Austrian flag and the Canadian flag, but it looks a bit like the Polish flag. And much like in New Zealand, you are hugging a nice gentle caress of the bollard with the orange reflector strip. So I don't really want to go too much into detail about that. But we are indeed in Poland with the... See, look, Polish flag, red and white. Back of this, red and white. Obviously this is vertical strips and that's not, but it works for me, okay? So, live and let live. This one. Have we had this one yet? No, but this one, the bollard, looks a bit like a flag. And we know where we are when we have one of these bollards that look a bit like a flag. So it's got like the pole and then the bollardy bit that sticks off the side. Usually, this bit, like Russia, but not the bit of Russia that we all know and hate, is the like other bit of Russia. We have pine trees. We have a very open road with a decent amount of water, which is irrelevant. There's a decent amount of water around here. It was Russia. This road, there's like 6 roads or something stupid in Russia that go up to the top of it into this like vastness of expansive land. And they're the only ones that are covered on the Google car. So if you learn each of the roads, you're sound. Whereas this one was a tough one because it is plonked right in the middle of a big bit of Russia, which I never seem to guess because it's usually around Moscow, especially on the world map. Again, decent score, 69 XP, which is fantastic. Let's do one more. Let's get some more bollards in the brain. So we have generic AF bollard, funky corner sign. See if we can get near this bloke / not bloke. Yeah, he looks like an absolute G. And his little polo. It's a nice little polo, to be fair. I would like to do a video where it's just car spotting on GeoGuessr. So if anyone has any cool cars or like pins for cars, then please do. Or a map that has cool cars visible. I would love to do that. So this is a very generic bollard. We have the pizza slice type top, where it's the like triangle on the top, which is a thing. It helps you work out which one's which. We have a red reflector strip, which helps you distinguish sometimes the differences between Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania. I can't remember which one's which. It wasn't these 3. Okay, so the Croatian bollards are white and black rectangle and a red or white reflector strip. From the top, they are shaped like a triangle, the pizza. Hungarian bollards are similar, but the black part of the reflector is positioned really close to the top. So Croatia, we have a little gap to the top, and Hungary, we have a big gap. So if you're Hungary, you have a bigger gap between your meals. So that's going to be what distinguishes them for us. This is a nice little pole. Is it a circular pole? It is. So we have a round-topped pole, which I believe, the way you remember this is Latvia have a flat top, so flat for Latvia. Estonia is the only one of these three with an O in it. And the top of this pole, because it's a tube, has an O at the top. So usually, when you have a circular pole, you're at Estonia. I'm just going to check the sun, because this could be very wrong. But let's go up near the capital. Tits. Why do you use two different bollards? You greedy bastards. One is rounded and very thin, the other is wedge-shaped. Looks like the Croatia bollard. So they just pinched Croatia's bollards, and then also used the one that's very similar to the Estonia bollard. It's a bit cheap. Nice bollards, but they are cheap for stealing it. Here we have a orange with a pizza slice. I mean, it looks like the Croatia bollard. It is identical because it's close to the top, and we are not hungry, so it has not gone down. But it is orange, which means it's not Croatia. It's got to be EU because of this. It just looks like EU. We can go. Does it have a flat top? No, it has an angled top. Let's go left and see if we're close. We are. So the Lithuania bollard is wedge-shaped. I think they mean pizza slice-shaped, with rectangular reflectors, orange on one side. So Lithuania is orange. That's quite a hard one to make work. You can't really come up with an analogy for orange. So here we have generic AF bollard, 2 dots on the back. We have a black strip with a white reflector, white blocked lines in the centre. It looks quite mainland EU. This could be like France. It's not Austria. We know it's not Austria because the Austria bollards have a very distinctive shape. What we're thinking. Not Hungary, because we know what the Hungary bollards look like. Could be Slovakia, Czechia. Hedge. So Latvia. So it's the flat top. We didn't see the orange dots on the back. That's a lie. So it has a flat top. Half circle, flat shaped bollard with a rectangular reflector on the front and 2 circular reflectors on the back. Reflectors can be white or orange. Sometimes these bollards have numbers on them. So Latvia, remember the numbers, and remember that it's a flat top, generic EU bollard. Here we have a flat top, generic EU bollard. So this is the... See, just because it's the pole with the O on the top, I'm immediately thinking it's just got to be. It is. There we go. There's the Estonian bollard that we were trying to find earlier, but it looked a bit like the one from, I can't remember, was it Macedonia that had similar? So don't get that wrong. There we go. Another very respectable score. There we have it. Some rounds of bollard guessing. If you enjoyed or learnt a thing or two about the holy grail of GeoGuessr, which is bollards, then please do leave a like. Make sure you subscribe so you can see more very poor bollard guessing from myself. Maybe we'll get semi-good at it at some point soon. I will be practicing in my spare time just to try and look less of an idiot online. But yeah, if you enjoyed, please do leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.